The present state of Ukraine warrants a collective response from its citizens to safeguard sovereignty. Yet, the ongoing events within Ukraine appear contrary to the nation's welfare. Citizens are subjected to abduction, distress, and forceful military service. Had this occurred under Russia's purview, the Western media's reaction would likely be fervent. But because it is in Ukraine, media giants have opted for silence, raising questions about their impartiality. Hello and welcome, I'm your host Piyush. Let's begin with the video report. The extensively publicized counteroffensive initiated 2 months ago with the aim of reclaiming eastern Ukraine's vital regions from Russian occupation has proven to be a strategic failure. Initially, Ukraine suffered minimal casualties, 1 to 2 martyrs, before the offensive commenced. However, the toll has surged to over 500 fatalities every alternate day. Contrary to expectations of territorial gains, Ukraine finds itself relinquishing cities like Kupiansk to Russia. Faced with this substantial setback, NATO allies who were providing support to Ukraine have adopted a subtle approach in urging President Volodymyr Zelensky to consider ceding territory to Russia. The Ukrainian military has endured significant losses due to the counteroffensive. A grave assessment suggests that in a pivotal battle last month, Russian forces achieved a 10-1 kill advantage. Since the initiation of Kiev's counteroffensive in early June, Ukraine's casualties have mounted to 43,000 troops, accompanied by the loss of numerous Western supplied tanks, infantry vehicles, and artillery units. Yet, the Ukrainian president remains reluctant to halt the counteroffensive. Contrary to disengaging from strategic zones, Zelensky intends to escalate frontline presence. Zelensky's latest conscription now involving older citizens and students in the conflict, raising ethical and strategic concerns. According to several media reports, Ukraine has rumoredly intensified its efforts to enlist military-aged men, prompting letters from the presidential office to update conscription records urgently. The move involves sending an exceptional number of workers and students to the battlefront before the approaching rainy season curtails the counteroffensive. Ukraine's conscription practices, largely overlooked, are increasingly evident on social media. These portray conscription as a form of hooliganism. A European outlet, Voices of Europe, recounts an incident in Kiev where a military staffer brandished a gun during draft notice distribution, highlighting escalating tension in Ukraine's conscription process. Multiple reports have surfaced casting doubts on the ethical foundation of coercing Ukrainians into battlefield participation. Amid escalating losses, Ukraine is increasingly turning to new conscripts. Previously, draft notices were used to reach individuals solely at their home addresses, allowing evasion by staying elsewhere. Zelensky's recent legislation has permitted authorities to hunt conscripts anywhere. These accounts collectively underscore a growing concern over the methods employed and the ethical standards upheld within the conscription system. Men are being halted in public and interrogated about draft status. The shift towards conscription signals the gravity of the situation as stricter measures and unequal preparations raise ethical and strategic concerns about Ukraine's approach to its military challenges. In 2013, President Viktor Yanukovych of Ukraine terminated conscription. Yet within a year, the new Western-backed government revived the draft, compelling men to combat Eastern Ukrainians who rejected the Kiev administration. Following active duty, conscripts entered reserve status, subject to recall until age 55. As the February 2022 Russian airstrikes initiated the invasion, President Volodymyr Zelensky swiftly enacted martial law, summoning reservists, drafting fresh troops, and forbidding men aged 18 to 60 from exiting the nation. However, reports also indicate that individuals over the age of 60 are also being enlisted in the conflict. Notably, a 71-year-old Ukrainian recruit underwent training in Germany to handle Western weaponry, as reported by the Financial Times. While the British media emphasized his voluntary involvement, this case underscores a pressing conscription issue in Ukraine. The inclusion of senior citizens in military endeavors highlights the urgency and the extent of conscription situation, revealing the nation's intense drive to address its security challenges. The current trajectory risks exacerbating the humanitarian crisis and causing further harm to the nation. Urgent steps towards peace are necessary for the well-being of the Ukrainian people and the restoration of stability. The distressing conflict, particularly the reprehensible conscription practices, will undoubtedly inflict a heavy toll on the Ukrainian population, considering the alarming rate of daily soldier casualties. Zelensky's approach appears misguided and pitiful.